think I said this to Carlton before. Maybe I'm the free condom of the tattoo industry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hip here, coming to you again with another edition of the Tattoo Guardians podcast. And this evening, me and the great Mr. Matt Clemmer will be going down the rabbit hole of who we are, how we've met, how we've grown as brothers, and our hunger level. So if y'all hungry with me, let's get ready to eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the Tattoo Guardians podcast. I am your host, one of three, Mr. Matt Clemmer here. Sitting here with me today is my good brother, Hip. And our third co-host, Mr. Joshua Carlton, couldn't join us this week. He is out in the clouds, painting the streets in love and doing magic that only Joshua Carlton can do. We love that brother so much, and looking forward to him rejoining us next week.
He's teaching a seminar, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is great. You and I took his seminar, didn't we?
Yes. I've taken quite a few.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm kind of excited for the dude that's got a one-on-one seminar with Josh right now. And we know Josh is pouring into him because he's not here doing the podcast for his prior commitment. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's good shit because, man, you can ask that dude pretty much anything in that seminar or any seminar I've experienced. And transparent, and like even the simplest of questions, like he's down to get dirty with you and answer them.
He really is, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He always has been, man. Well, and that's the way he is with you and I.
Right.
You know, what a blessing.
So speaking of you and I,
Okay.
I think we're going to kind of give the folks a little introduction to like our history and how we've came about and what it looked like then, now, and soon to be, and the future.
Yeah, man. Which is awesome because, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people, you know, they see us on the Guardians group and Facebook. You know, they hear us on here and they probably just assume you and I are real tight and just been boys forever. Little do they know that isn't true. And you and I have actually known each other, what, for 5 years now?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, man. And what a whirlwind. Because I know that a lot of people know who you are now, got you on a pedestal, look up to you. You know, grass is always greener, right? But the backstory of who the fuck you really are, who you were when you came to me, and where you are today is the miracle. Now, let's pause real quick, because I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not someone that even usually wants to hear every interview of where someone came from. Tell us your whole story before we get around to today. And most people are like, yes, tell me. I'm like, fuck it. Can we fast forward to today? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if any of you out there are listening and you're like me, it's like, fuck, I don't want to hear your live story. Well, this ain't going to be the live story, but this one is worth it. Trust me. And I'll never forget. Hip, do you remember how our paths actually intersected for the first time?
Yeah, and it's just weird. Like, well, for starters, I wasn't a fan of professional with parentheses for those of you that aren't watching and are listening, tattoo artists. I had a bad run-in with one once I got out of being incarcerated, and I was told coming out of prison that like we're looked down upon for learning this craft in a joint. So already it had a bad taste in my mouth, closed-minded, blase blah. So I already had like a stank eye for any tattoo artist. And just in general, I think it was more of my internal being, like being projected on lack of confidence with myself and fear of learning or maybe not being the best person with a machine in my hand. So, you know, I approached people like that kind of with an attitude and a preconceived judgment about other people's opinions about how they're going to view me. And, you know, I just kept hearing this word industry and shit. And, you know, you just walked into a shop one day and was like all love and cool, which deep down inside, that's how and who I am. But a lot of times, you know, through past experiences, I've just built walls and put on these tough guy masks. So I kind of met that with like, yeah, I think he's bullshitting.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah, I'm talking about you.
Okay, you must have went too fast. Okay, so you went straight to. I came up in your shop.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, like, it was a hole in the wall shop, but I'm grateful for it. Humble beginnings, man. But yeah, prior to being legit, I would like run into shops and like ask dudes like, yo, what's up with an apprenticeship? Or like, how, the questions that all of us hate to hear. How much this cost? What's that take? I'm not even an apprentice, and I'm running up in the shop asking about what you run your fucking machine on, like volts and, needles.
Did you ever try and buy ink from anybody?
Oh, fuck yeah. Stencil paper, all that shit.
He was one of those.
Dude, there was this little fucking printer shop in Xenia, Ohio, and I just got sick of these motherfuckers being assholes to me, so I just went in there and got the fucking, oh shit, what is it? The god damn it, it's the ink that a lot of tattooists use when they're doing like watercolor, and they just dilute it. I can't even think of the fucking name of it. It's been so long ago. But yeah, it was some bullshit ass ink. It was probably toxic to put in the body, but fuck it, I was making them stacks. It didn't matter.
Jeez. Wow. Well, okay. I remember that day.
Right.
And it's crazy because now I didn't go in there that day looking for you or anyone for that matter. But, the ancient scripture says our steps are ordered. And, man, how you and I roll today, we're a lot more willing and have a hunger to hear. And we're constantly always, I'm hungry to hear. Hear what? Everything. My next move, the next vision, what I should say to certain clients, how I should treat my wife today. All of them, I'm always open to hearing for guidance, instruction, direction. Now, obviously, we got to choose, and we're on a path. It doesn't mean you always have to be still to listen. You can master the art form of listening while in movement, so you can be on a path until, if you hear it's time to hang a quick left, that's when we must obey. Guys like you and I today obey, and people act like, I've had dudes be like, man, God's got you boys on speed dial, right? And we never, what they don't realize is all the years of our disobedience to that
Still.
inner voice. Still. You know what I'm saying? But these days, the only reason why I obey the unction on the inside of me is from the many years of me telling that voice to get fucked. Me going down a path and the voice is like, yo, Clemmer, I love you. I'm looking out for you. You need to hang a left right now. Mayday, mayday. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going right. Skirt. Damn, I should have listened. Fuck.
And get pissed because you went right.
Right. And I don't know about you, I've been a stubborn, slow learner. I had to fuck up, and so many times I turned right when I should have went left. And after causing enough harm, getting enough hurt, it finally is like, well, damn, maybe I should heed that voice. And I trust it now. So to this day, now we heed that voice much easier. But I don't do it. We don't heed it because of whatever reasons people may think. It's really because of all of our years of fucking up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you hit your head enough, you're going to learn to like duck when you walk through a doorway.
Isn't it like that old thing, like, hey, at first God will just throw a pebble at you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't heed that, warning or direction, then here comes a rock. And if you don't get it, then here comes a fucking boulder. Eventually, The reason why I bring that up is because on that particular day, Hip, I was just down the street kicking it with Kyle Cotterman and Big Meese. And after I got done kicking with them, I left and I was going on my own merry way. I drove by the shop that you were in down the street. For starters, I didn't even know it existed. So I drove by and I was like, look at that shop. Didn't you know that existed? I just kept on going. Boom, don't you know my inner voice right then there's like, Matt, I want you to turn around. I want you to go back, go up into that shop, introduce yourself, and bless them boys. Right?
And see here, people that are listening, this type of shit is what I ran into when he came in that day. And I'm like, he's on some bullshit.
Well, talking about some bullshit, for me or anyone, how easy is it to not act on those unctions? And guess what? And from a selfish standpoint, Hip, the last thing I wanted to do was obey that day. I've got my own shit. I'm already on my way to doing what I'm trying to do today. And now I'm getting literally not only instruction, but rerouted. I want you to turn around from your own plans, go back, have the courage to walk in and introduce yourself to a bunch of strangers. I didn't want to turn left, but I know no matter what that I need to heed the word. And I didn't know. So I just was obedient and had the courage. It wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? It takes courage.
And I don't know if you're anything like me, but no matter where I've been at on my path to becoming legit or better, more professional, more well-known of a tattoo artist, it doesn't matter what shop that I go into, it is always like tough. My feet are fucking 80 pounds each just to go in there, and I'm nervous, my voice is shaking. So I still to this day, dude. Yeah. So I can totally relate. And at that time I would probably say you were about where I'm at now, but back then, because you've been in the game like 15, 16 years? Yeah, so that was
in the tattoo game.
Yeah.
In the game of us being humans, learning to discern and obey our inner voice
like
is
48 years.
Fucking life game. No, I ain't that old motherfucker. No. Yeah. And the only reason why I bring that up was for so many reasons, but that one act of obedience altered my life and yours.
Yeah.
Because that day I walked in there, and I mean, what happened when I did walk in?
So, shit, I was tattooing, doing some probably fucking cheese work and fucking skulls and eyeballs and shit.
Yeah.
And then I was asked to come out because you were in the lobby, didn't know who you were, judgmental off the rib, then talking to you, and just that whole kind of like, man, I don't know, it was something different. Now I can look back at it and I can see it's like maybe a touch of class and compassion, but then it was just like some cheesy bullshit. And you asked us about some water demo fucking thing, and I remember thinking like, one, I wanted to pick your brain to see if your actions match the way you were being there, or if you were just a stranger in a fucking tattoo shop, so you're just trying to be like cool like one of the guys.
Right.
And it was that night actually. And so I've got my thoughts on what like this whole fucking water thing's gonna be, and I'm thinking for whatever reason, because I went straight to IG and like looked at your portfolio, and I was like, holy shit, this dude like can fucking throw down. And after you walked out the door, it's funny because the guy that actually hired me there told me, he was like, you need to figure out who's fucking working around you, what caliber of artists they are. And become privy to who you're around, because they're your competition and fucking blah blah blah. Basically, it was just some lax shit to know who's around me, to fucking whose customers I can steal and who I got to outshine and all that shit. And of course, I was remaining teachable then, so I was like, fuck it, yeah, that sounds right. That was the same lingo I got from every other tattoo artist that I've met thus far. So fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and do what they do to get what they get. But yeah, had that altercation. We're on our way to this fucking water show thing or whatever. For whatever reason, I think you're going to be in like some kind of fancy fucking 3-piece Armani suit with a chainsaw doing backflips around ice, like sculpting some type of fucking, Michelangelo or David. And
sorry to let you down.
Yeah. And it was.
It was a letdown.
It was at first, but then... So, and it's funny, man, because like looking back at things, to me, I don't know if it's a proper word, but I can say the word like trauma, whether it's like good trauma, and I think that's totally a fucking oxymoron and doesn't exist. But there are little things throughout life that I can look back on, and it's weird that I even fucking remember them. Like when I was like 5, I was walking across the street with my mom and I dropped an orange and I was like, Mommy, orange. And then we come back from the store and it got flattened by a car. Why do I remember that? Have no fucking clue. The only thing I can guess is I can contribute that to some sort of trauma that I experienced, whether it's good or bad. But we go to this water thing, I'm sitting there, it's like you and your twin brother and your mom, and everyone's dressed nice, and fucking there's no ice or fucking chainsaw. And there's a couple dudes in the audience and around that are like, tatted up and just looks like, some miscreants like myself. And you are fucking going around with a tray serving people cups of water. And, you know, we're talking about this stuff and it's intriguing. But I just wasn't ready to receive exactly what it was. And the only reason I really indulged in it and decided, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and invest in this sometime one day, is simply, I think it was more like a people-pleasing thing, or like, hey, look at me, I'm a student, I'll fucking do anything you tell me. Which, you know, I'm vulnerable, and I got a bad habit of, like, one, I'll put people on pedestals, but that's cool because they always knock themselves off the fucking pedestal every fucking time, never fails. So, like, you know, I was just willing, and I remember, like, getting up to go refill my water, and he was like, nah, sit down, I got you. And after seeing your portfolio, meeting you at the shop, and then, like, now you're filling, basically how I viewed myself was like just some fucking junkie scratcher that's in a fucking little street shop that I wouldn't even equate to that. You're pouring me water, and I'm, you know, and I'm not saying that was traumatic, but it was something that played a pivotal role in me right then, because that buildup of that day shifted my perception on what tattoo artists were. That, like, you know what, there's a yin with the yang. Man. And maybe not all of them are arrogant, cocky assholes.
Right. And man, what an honor if you consider me the first tattooer to help change your mind on that.
Totally,
man, because now, you know, there's tons of, you know, Josh Ricardo, we can list off a name of fucking sweethearts now that are Slayer tattooers, but it's an honor that whatever the universe, God used me to change your perspective. Now, I remember that night, and not only that, the same inner voice that instructed me earlier that day to turn around and go back to your shop and introduce myself to the whole crew. So here we are later that evening in the water demonstration, which, side note, what he's talking about is I have a Japanese medical device that basically makes the best drinking water on the planet, and I'm real passionate about it and share it with folks. I don't as much these days, but on that day was one where I was inviting people to come check out. I got some good water, you might be hip to it. And that's all it was, you know. But I think you were blown away by that. Anyways, in that night, the same inner voice that told me to go introduce myself, in that night, Hip, I'm standing there off to the side watching the audience. And yes, your whole shop was there. The owner of your shop, there were other tattooers from other shop there. Those were the people I invited, right? But there were doctors there, business people, all kinds. And scouring over the whole audience, the same inner voice told me and pointed you out and said that I'm supposed to take you on, that one day you and I would work together, but that day isn't today. But I'm thankful that I had the luxury of getting that heads up and the seed planted in me on that day that you and I are meant to work together, but the wisdom to know it ain't today. And that's all you know. And it was beautiful. I needed that. I think God was prepping me to get ready while he was getting you ready. Well, folks, from that night till the day Hip and I actually started becoming friends and working together, went almost another 3 years, right?
Shit. Yeah, 3-ish years. I'm gonna say 3. It felt like eternity. And I say that because, like, at the time when I was coming up and finally got put in the tattoo shop and was working and learning what I could, dude, I was like steadily outgrowing people that were in. And this is like one of those catch-all tattoo shops. Like, if you can fucking hold a machine and you can dip it in ink and put something on the skin, you're fucking hired. But I've just wanted to be better than that, damn it. Like, I couldn't do shit my entire life, or I would get so far and I'd shoot myself in the foot. So I had a hunger. I was hungry. Shout out to Les Brown.
Yep.
And by any means necessary.
Man. Love it. So periodically over the years.
Wait. Hang on, let me stop you. Tell them, so that night I sent this Shakespearean text message, and Matt actually had sent it back to me maybe a year or 2 years ago, and it's just like, man, it's one of those like, what the fuck? You talk about a measuring stick. You ever fucking do some dumb shit real young, and now it's documented on Facebook, only for you to get a notification fucking 5, 6, 7 years later, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. What is that? It was one of those moments. Like, what are some immaculate things that stood out to you in that text message?
Which was beautiful. Now you guys already know that I knew now wasn't the time with him and I. He wrote me. I saved that message knowing it would be a measuring stick. And today it is, because guys, if you would see and hear and be able to read how Hip, the level of integrity, the level of class and professionalism, how he carries himself, consults, the whole bit today, it's power, and he is found and stays in his power. But years ago, we've been together. So this was probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote me the most fucking ghetto ass message. I don't think there was a proper grammar or properly spelled word. I mean, instead of the word R, like A-R-E, he just wrote capital R. Instead of the word U, it was just the letter U. He called me cuz, C-U-Z. Hey, what up, cuz? Are you be taking anybody on? Like, the whole fucking thing was like, I was reading it like, yeah, God's right. He ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I had compassion then.
He left me on red.
Did I ghost you? Did I not even respond?
Ghosted me.
Folks, I didn't even respond.
But I was fucking hungry, so I didn't give a fuck if you ghosted me or not. Because okay, cool. Let me go ahead and hit this gym again and come back.
Hell yeah.
let me rephrase my grammar here in a couple years.
That's right. Oh shit. Oh, good stuff. Other people reached out to me on your behalf too, whether you put them up to it or not. Even the shop owner, his wife, wrote me one day, like wondering if you could come sit in on with me, blah blah.
Because I was too scared.
Yeah. But even though he's too scared, what outweighed his fear was the hunger. He was scared. He was insecure. Remember, he had a bad perception of all of us. You know. And you found a guy like me that was maybe someone that you could be safe with, and you reach out,
and I didn't.
And then I ghost you.
Yeah, right.
You know,
totally.
Like,
So that just builds the insecurity.
Right.
And you know, a couple years later, those same people. I had moved like another shop, started working with this sweetheart who eventually became a coworker, and he's like a brother now. Shout out to Chris Powell, man. We love you.
Yeah, we do.
And he's an amazing artist. But I went to work at a shop with him, and he was just a little baby when I was there. And he was starting his tattoo career as well, and was like already off to a great start. And then messed around, you know, dude, it was like every 6 to 9 months to a year, I was like switching shops because one, I was either outgrowing the people that were working there or the drama was just too much. But I knew that these two names, there was Matt Clemmer, Kyle Cotterman, Dayton, Ohio. I had to the goal at that early of a stage was to be like the love child. If they were to form something, I wanted like the saturation and the credibility of Cotterman, and I wanted like the extreme realism, feel and looseness that you had. And even on a greater aspect of like the technical ability, I wanted to be a tattoo artist that was credible, good, and nice, because I know that there's going to be people after me that are in the same position I am that may be scratching or fucking just doing it wrong, and all they need is someone that they may look up to. And it's weird even saying that, like, I'm someone people look up to come to them and meet them at their level and be like, yo, check it, why don't we try it like this? So because, you know, motherfuckers are gonna scratch, people are gonna do what they do, you know. And if I can, I feel like I think I said this to Carlton before. Maybe I'm the free condom of the tattoo industry. If that makes sense.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
Okay, well, let me explain. So, motherfuckers are gonna fuck, right? So, why not give them protection so they can be safe? motherfuckers are going to tattoo. So why not give them some guidance to be safe, you know, in a sense, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah, I hope that nickname does not stick.
Oh, man. So check it, folks. We'll fast forward to the day you and I, to where basically I got the green light. It's time now.
Okay.
Time for what? Time to obey again. Because my inner voice just told me he's ready. So it's a constant. Every new level is going to require new instructions, a new level of surrender, i.e. a new level of obedience. It was easy to obey when my inner voice said, yeah, you're supposed to take him on, but not now. Cool. That don't mean I ain't got to do shit now.
No action required.
That's right. But wait, sometimes patience. It wasn't hard to wait.
You're welcome.
But check it. Here we are 3 years later, and all of a sudden you hit me up again. I don't give a fuck until my insides go off and be like, boom, 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 boom. It's time. So here's what I did first. You may call this a test. I don't fucking know what it was. I was definitely making sure.
Yeah, I would say you were probably testing willingness.
Yeah, I was. You're right. I gave Hip his first assignment before we were to even meet in person, which was to listen to a teaching series. Not just listen to it, but literally indulge and receive, marinate. But check it, folks. This wasn't just like a little quick YouTube teaching.
No, it wasn't.
This was a teaching, pretty in-depth, 14 different parts, each at least an hour long. So we're talking 14, 15 hours of teaching that I wanted Hip to go through. But here's the deal. I didn't give him any timelines because I wasn't in no hurry. He's like, bro, take your time. Check this out, marinate on it. And you guys, I knew that I would know in conversation with him if he really did it. And I was like, take your time. You need 6 months, whatever. Once you get through this teaching, hit me back up. We'll have our first meeting.
And check this out. This teaching that was fucking long, right? And at the time, and still to this day, I'll re-listen to it, no problem if asked. But it had shit to do with tattooing. It was just on some other level self-growth type shit like he was saying earlier. So imagine, if you will, like whatever stereotypical thoughts or ways tattoo apprenticeships or any of that shit's supposed to go, it kind of gets shattered at that point. Because, you know, I came in expecting to like scrub the toilet with my toothbrush. I actually, you know what? I didn't know what to expect because I didn't give a fuck what was expected of me. I was coming into play.
Fuck yeah, dude. And that's why you were ready. Because check it, folks. I gave him that instructions to listen to 15 hours of teaching. Take your time. This dude, no joke, hits me back up in like 48 hours or less. And he's like, I'm ready. I'm like, huh? He's like, you listened to all the 14 hours of this teaching? He's like, yep.
And took notes.
And then he's like, twice. I'm like, this motherfucker. And I believed him. But I also knew when I'd see him and we'd have a discussion that I would know. And guess what? He was just like he was wondering if I'm the real deal. If I was wondering if he was the real deal. That on day one, that was squashed. Not only that, Hip came to work and made his own t-shirt, and on the front of it, it said 2 words, empty cup. Man, powerful.
I wish I would have went with a black tee with white lettering.
You came red, didn't
you? Red as fuck.
For those of you who are wondering, well, Matt Clemmer, what teaching series did you have Hip even listen to? Back in the day, I paid like $2,000 for this teaching series, 14 disc. Now you guys can look it up and listen to the whole thing for free on YouTube right now.
Should have waited.
And it is called Your Wish is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau. Your wish is your command. Check it out. Because that would be a blessing and fun for you, and then you would be able to like talk to Hip and I on a whole different level too. But I was fucking proud, and that was Hip's day one. What's empty cup mean?
Man, so it can mean a lot of things. For me at the time, it was just simple. I had to keep it simple. So it was like my willingness and my teachability index needed to be at the same place.
And you said teachability index.
Right.
Right. And so when we're checking to see if how coachable someone really is, and that someone is usually someone coming to you and I wanting a job, wanting to be an apprentice, wanting to be a student, wanting to be mentored, wanting to partner with us, whatever. What do we always look for? Attitude and their humility. Are they coachable, workable, all that?
Right. Totally. Because like if I'm looking to hire somebody or work alongside somebody, I'm looking for a motherfucker that even if they got years experience isn't afraid to like go around the fucking shop and take out other people's trash. Because I'm the motherfucker that's going to go around shop and take out other people's trash.
Yes, you are.
An example, I paid for a private seminar with the great and powerful Yogi Berra, and I came a day early, scared, and I was out.
This was in person with Yogi at wherever he was tattooing at the time?
Yeah, he was tattooing at a wonderful shop where he apprenticed at in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I scrounged up my last little bit of money to make it there. Not saying that for pity, but saying that for power, right? Because I put fucking, I'm going up there on fumes.
All your chips are
fumes and faith.
Yep.
So I come up a day early, and I'm like, well, shit, maybe I can like squeeze in here, and walking in like a shy little kid. And I did, and they was like, yeah, you're here a day early, and I'm like, oh shit, my bad, and I started to leave, but Yogi seen the hunger
No, wait a
too.
minute. Oh, he saw the hunger,
Yeah.
but were you playing dumb, or did you not know you was a day early?
I mean, I did, but I'm trying to get in there and
Yeah.
fucking maybe sit down and be a
trying-
fly on the wall.
You're trying to nut right, aren't you?
Yeah, hell yeah. Them motherfuckers are warm, I heard. Can I stay around a while?
Yeah. But that hunger, that's where your hunger exceeded your fear.
Right.
Because I remember that, dude. You were so fucking scared and timid. This fucking Yogi Berra. Now you're going to kick it with him.
Right.
And not only were you afraid to go, you fucking show up a whole day early.
And this was the third seminar. I think when I requested this, he was like, damn, bro, like, you've already taken 2 of my shits. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I just need it, bro. And I mean, fuck, I'm throwing some money, so no one's gonna blink an eye at that. And I, again, man, it's that obsession and compulsion, but it's cool, and it's that hunger level. So boom, he lets me sit down, and I'm watching him, and he's like reworking some shit that like maybe he did before he caught on fire, or some shit that a dude had that he was just polishing turds for him. So we're kicking it and shit, and day's over, and there was an apprentice there, or a recent apprentice, which is now a tattooing artist. And, Yogi's like busting his balls, and he's like, man, why don't you break me down? And dude's like, fuck that. And instantly I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
And I fucking broke him down, and what an honor.
Yeah.
To do that. I think he actually took a picture, man. Yogi's a sweetheart. Don't let him fool you with all the scary faces and the mean attitude, sweetheart. But he took a picture of it, and like, that's another one of those. I keep going back to the word traumatic, but it's not traumatic. I don't know what it is. A spiritual awakening, an enlightening moment, something that I can cherish in the past that I always remember. Like, fuck yeah, I got to break Yogi Berra down being a six-year tattoo artist.
Yeah. Did you go through and take out the trash too?
Hell yeah. Well, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I could have added that in. See, I was about to lie to you and say that I did.
To pull a Josh.
Yeah, I was about to pull a Carlton on you.
And just lie so you can straight up admit to it.
Right.
2 seconds later.
Right. See how humble I am?
I love it. Oh shit! Josh isn't here. Should we just wreck on him?
Yeah, I texted him. I told him like, dude, we're just going to talk shit about you, and then Thursday when you and Matt do a podcast together, you guys can just brag about how awesome I am.
Well, he probably ain't gonna fucking listen to this. So what you really think? Oh man, beautiful. And we trickled into that on what we look for.
Right. Yeah,
when
totally.
we're not only hiring, but just who we're aligning our lives with.
I want to work with someone who's willing to put in the same amount of effort, time, desire, blood, sweat, and tears that I am. Now, whatever that looks like for someone else, completely different than what it actually is for me, but I just need the desire.
You know, the greatest of the greatest. Something you always say, Hip. You know, even when Hip and I get down, something you always say that I love is man, it's time to lose yourself in the service of others.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And even when you and I are having a down day, when we get an opportunity to bless somebody else or serve somebody else, it can pull us out of our funk.
Right.
I remember when you was having a down day and then Destiny had an appointment for you after your tattoo, walk outside and you ran into somebody and you felt led, you were supposed to give him your money, and you did, and that dude broke, bawled, hugged you, all that, and you serving him actually served you and pulled you out of your funk. I remember you calling and be like, man, I've been down as fuck, but now I'm up.
Yeah, and that was a 2-for-1 because, like, you know, one, I got to be a service, totally awesome, but I also got to clean up my side of the street, you know, past, I robbed the dude, basically, back when, the old guy that used
Back
to share my same name.
Back in your using days.
Yeah. So
and see, that was beautiful because what are we talking about? 15, 17 years later? From the day you robbed that guy to now current day, it's almost been 2 decades.
Yeah.
You didn't know that was him. You walked outside, wasn't it dark out?
Yeah.
Some dude, wasn't he just at the trash can or something?
Yeah, and I know he had reached out to you earlier in the day, and you said something was pretty dope that I didn't have words for it, but he was looking for human interaction is what it was.
Yes.
No one had time because, like, we was moving and shaking, shucking and jiving. So, like, our day had started, and, you know, he just wanted to have somebody love on him.
That's right.
And still, I was iffy because, you know, I seen some old ways and patterns, but, like, something, man, that universe, God, whatever it was like, nah, you got to right your wrong right now. And I went and deposited my money from my session, came back, screamed for dude. He come downstairs. I told him, you know, the guy that he used to know is dead. And me as an individual today, morally, spiritually, principle-based, my values will not allow me to let this go without some attention put on it. And I made my amends. Even though he told me, like, chalk it years ago. He's like, man, it's just that shit we charge of the game. But yeah, that didn't sit right with me, and it couldn't sit right with me. And you know, the life of the streets is a tough one because that gentleman got murdered a couple months later. So it really, I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to do that because I'd rather resent the things I did than the things I didn't do. Now, I don't resent that, but thank God I did, because after finding out that, you know, he was murdered, I now know that, like, up until the end of his life, I got to play a role of being, like, positive, love, and light in that gentleman's final times. So, like, that gives me closure.
Again, what a gift, because it started out that night as you feeling called and led to give, and you're obeying. You take a step, walk towards going into action, only to come up through the dark and realize you know this one. And this is a dude you caused harm to 20 years ago. You know, so it went from you thinking you get an instruction to bless somebody else, but it was a setup to fucking bless you.
2-for-1, man.
Come on, man. Love it.
And the cool thing is, too, I wasn't, like, balling a red shirt that said empty cup. I was just being that shit.
Man, come on. The story of the empty cup, the short version. You can also YouTube, type in empty cup. This shit, to get the right one, it should be like an Indian dude telling you the story, but it goes like this. There was a master shaman, a master teacher. The whole world wanted their children to be one of his students. He only selected a handful of students that he was going to take on every single year, and he would usually go out and hand select his own students. Well, one year, there was one student that got into his class, rich, spoiled kid from America. Somehow he got in dude's class. He taught all year. At the end of the year, when it's time for graduation, guess what? Everyone graduated and went on except for the one arrogant kid from U.S. And he thought to himself, like, man, how's come I didn't graduate and move on? In his arrogance, he thought to himself, oh, I get it. The master wants to keep me around so I can help him help the next round of students. Okay, this went on for a couple years, and he never moved on or advanced and graduated. Finally, this arrogant student storms in the master's doors, all upset, and starts yelling. It's like, how's come you ain't advancing me? I've been here 3 years, blah, blah, blah. And the master's all calm. He's like, please, calm down. Have a seat. Pour me some tea. So the boy sits down, starts pouring some tea. And like all of us, when we pour tea, before it fills up, we stop. But the master looked at him and said, I didn't tell you to stop. Why'd you keep pouring the tea? So the boy pours the tea. It overflows, goes on the saucer. Now it flows all over the table. It's rolling off on the table. And he's just holding the tea till it's all gone, poured on the table. And he's like pissed and embarrassed. And he looks at the master. He's like, okay, I know this is you're trying to teach me something. What is it? And the master said, you have always been like this cup, full of your own opinions, your own knowledge, your own everything. Anything that I could, would, or have ever tried to impart into you and to put into your cup just falls out. There is no room in your cup. Man. Because your cup's been full. You, sir, must learn how to empty your cup so that you could actually receive something new. You know? So oftentimes people come to us, won't they hit and be like, yo, man, I want you guys mentor me. I'm humble. I'm coachable. But then once we realize if their willingness to change, you know, we check their teachability index, you said. Mm-hmm. But if someone's willingness to change is low, if it's not at a 10, then they're not teachable.
Totally.
They're not coachable, you know. And
I can teach any motherfucker to run a solid 9 or fucking smooth shading. I can't teach you to fucking want to learn, you know?
Yeah. So you showed up all out, empty cup, and I just wanted to know what empty cup meant.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. Hip, you didn't just show up day one, the beginning of your relationship with me with an empty cup and humility because you believed I actually had something to give. From that day till now, you still roll with an empty cup.
Man, that's good to hear because sometimes I don't feel like it.
Man.
And you know what? I guess there could be different versions of empty cups too, right. Because like you sprinkle a little bit of patience on it because there's been lessons along this whole time that I've just like felt like I've kicked and screamed the whole way through. Mm-hmm. So like check it right. Our shop, aisle 9, when Matt first opened it, it's been a little over 3 years ago. I get it, but it's just part of the game to like have that craftsman toolbox. Like, hell yeah, I got my craftsman toolbox. I got like stickers from every tattoo artist ever. Fucking skull paintings all over the wall. Gotta be fucking banging some brutal ass fucking death metal or ICP. It's just par for the course.
What about horror dolls or like
toys,
collector toys, wrestler, some of these.
And I'm not being judgmental. Well, I am being judgmental to set the tone and be humorous, but there's nothing wrong with that. But that was my mindset. That was where I was at. But I had to look at a point because like when we went to aisle 9, like it was all white fucking everything. Fucking, I thought that I had a little bit of taste that could go with this. So I like went and bought these, now looking back, horrid fucking ink cap holders, fucking tongue depressor holders, bright red, gold on the top, but they had a little filigree on the sides. I'm like, yeah, man, check me out. And you know, Matt, being the kind guy he is, didn't say fuck no. He just like let him ride while we were still doing construction in the shop. And when the time came, like I noticed that he'd given them to my wife to take home, and woke up one morning and she's got flour and sugar in them shits. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought those was like dope. They set the good tone. And he's like, nah, man. So that is me like kicking and screaming along the ways. And now when people walk into our shop, the level in which they're treated by everybody that works there, and they're not ignored, and the way it presents itself. And when I say presents itself, I mean like there's no ego there. Like when you walk in, it's a genuine feel and a welcoming feel, because you know I'm in and out of tattoo shops. I know what it's like, and when I'm stuck in one, and I'm just there. I'm normal to it. I'm used to it. I know what the feeling is. for people that have maybe never been to a tattoo shop or had bad experiences in the past, or just like in a new chapter in their life and are journeying in to see like what this tattoo thing is all about, it's fucking scary for them. And like I just explained earlier, like it's scary for me still to walk in new and foreign tattoo shops I'm not used to, even if like there's not a badass that works there. Because, you know, just the normal person, you know, if you're a tattoo artist, we're fragile, dude. We're artists. We're fragile.
And it's real hard to reach people until we first put ourselves in their shoes.
Right.
You know, and we know what you just said. For a lot of folks, it takes courage to even walk up in the place. And I think what you're getting to is, you know, with our presentation, our culture, our atmosphere, people are pleasantly surprised.
Right.
If they were afraid, they realize real quick they're safe here with us.
Right. Yeah, we're not in there sacrificing virgins.
When we was opening, man, the fact that I wouldn't let you or anybody bring a Craftsman or any of your artwork,
oh, man.
You was like, man, I don't even know if I want to go.
It was a tough one because, I mean, look at my fucking arms tatted black. Like, I wear black. Like, it's just the thing. I like black.
But now, Hip and I are talking about doing a second studio together, and you fucking want it all white.
All fucking white. Look, check it, dude. One, if you know me, I will fucking bring you flowers. If you're the biggest, toughest motherfucker, I'm coming with some roses. And I learned that from this man. And there's just something classy about another man giving another man roses. But at the tattoo conventions, you can always spot me out. Actually, I got to give shout out to Pooch, man, because he's got the best fucking setup always. He comes strong.
On his booth presentation.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's beautiful. He's got it set up to where the clients can, like, come in his booth and, like, step around him and look and ask him questions. He's a sweetheart, too. But I'm the dude with all white, the flowers, fresh bouquet of flowers, and I'm serving fruit. So it's really easy to pick me out in the lineup when you're walking in conventions, and it's just some of that life-giving shit, man. Beautiful flowers, you know, candy's awesome and cool, but a lot of times when you're on hour 6, hour 7 getting blazed on at the convention, you need something like more neutral.
Yeah, that's it.
It. I'm not a meteorologist, man. I don't know. But
some nutrients up in that. Yep. I love it, man. Well, dude, you know, one thing, first of all, people, I can't even tell all you listeners, you know, even though I'm like a father to Hip and a mentor, everyone at the shop calls me dad. We're also brothers, but I've learned so much from this man, you know, kind of like, you know, scripture talks about the accountants of a true friend building up another true friend is equivalent to iron sharpening iron. And I just thank God for you, Hip, because now we've grown to a place to where, like, we teach each other, but he can call me out on my bullshit and vice versa, and we can hold one another accountable, because we all need reminded every day of the good news about who you are. We all need reminded of who the fuck we are every day, because we forget every day, you know?
Man.
And when I see Hip starting to stray from who he really is, I love him enough to say it. And he does for me too. And it's a beautiful thing. So apparently I didn't know this. My wife's been trying to tell me for years that, you know, we're not normal and everyone's like us because of our degree of hunger, which has been hard for, you know, because I thought, like, doesn't everyone want to strive to be fucking great? Apparently not. You know what I'm saying? Well, now I know. We got to keep that in consideration.
Right.
You know, you and I were talking earlier today because we have a Facebook group called the Tattoo Guardians, right? And we were talking how I made a post in there. And here's what the post said, folks, for all you listeners. I wrote something along the lines, and I didn't write this. I stole this or borrowed it from another quote from a professional golfer, and I just changed some of the wording. And it basically, I wrote in the group, average tattooers want to be left alone most of the time so they can just slide by. Good tattooers actually want to be coached to get better. But great tattooers want their coach to be honest with them every single day. Right?
Yeah.
So most dudes are firing back, facts, fire, that's killer. But one dude was almost offended by it, you know, because of the word average. And
Now, real quick on that word, what are you saying average?
right.
Like,
Thank you. Because so I did go back and clarify, guys, this post wasn't meant to pick on anyone. This post was actually about teachability and coachability. Guys who want to be the best. This wasn't to pick on who I called average.
Right.
But I clarified this. When I do say average, I'm not even talking really about your portfolio. I'm talking about your mindset.
right.
Right? So to me, what makes a good tattooer isn't just your portfolio. Now, yes, that matters, but to me, a good tattooer is the whole fucking package. Meaning, we could take a dude who slays it at tattoos, but if all he is got is that technical ability, but he doesn't have anything else, his mindset, the way he treats you sucks, I guarantee you know, that's going to be a certain experience to where really the only thing the client gets is maybe that dope tattoo, which is cool. It's probably what they wanted, right?
Right.
But we can take another tattooer with a totally different, vibrating at a higher frequency that actually gives a fuck about you and people. We can take a dude who technically we could say is pretty basic tattoo, but how his culture, how he creates this event that lasts forever, and the experience, the interaction, to me, creating the whole experience is what makes that tattooer, in my book, a great tattooer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that post was more about mindset.
Right.
And you and I have always had the mindset for growth. We've always had the mindset, when I say we, and everyone like us. For guys like you and I, we don't want to strive to be average. Guys like you and I who know we're holding ourselves accountable to be the truest versions of ourselves, then average is kind of like not even in our DNA.
Right. And you know, it's something that helps me look at that, because I totally get, and I'm glad you clarified like what average meant, and you know, of course it could have something to do with art.
Yep.
Of course it could have something to do with, you know, whatever you want to put it with, the fucking car you drive, you know, how well you speak, the type of music you listen to when certain clients are around. It could be all that. So I'm glad that you clarified.
And maybe average wasn't the best word, because, you know, guys got hung up on me saying someone's work is average. And I'm talking about your desire to want to grow.
Yeah, because work doesn't just mean tattoos in your images. Work means like the whole work ethic, you know.
All of
it is the way you fucking treat your old lady or your old man at home, reflected on how you treat your clients. You know, are you an introvert by nature like most of us artists are, and daily do you try to stay in the solution to become less awkward and weird around people and push yourself out more, to be selfless, to, yeah, you may be uncomfortable, but the client is always going to be uncomfortable. So what can we do to make them comfortable?
But hey, stop before you even get there, putting that on any one artist.
Right.
The point of that post is, do you have help? Do you have coaches that's going to help you get from where you are to where you're trying to be? Because I need them. I have them.
Dude, what was that documentary with Michael Jordan that was just out on Netflix? What was that fucking... I can't remember. Anyway, great documentary. And I was alive when this man played basketball, and watching it I hate basketball. I don't hate basketball, but I don't watch sports.
I love it. I played ball my whole life.
Shit, let's see it right now. But yeah, so it just made me wish that I would have been paying more attention to watch this man play, because like he was one of the greats. And the crazy thing is actually he wasn't one of the greats. He was the greatest to do it. And it still kind of reigns true to this day. And even at his pinnacle, he had a coach.
Oh my God. Everyone, you know, we just watched another huge MMA fight with Conor McGregor. And they were even saying, like, some of the commentary before this fight, he basically switched all his coaches and got new trainers and went to fucking Thailand or something. And someone's like, man, that's not a good sign. Just for this fight, he changed and he lost the fight, whatever. What I'm getting at is every athlete, Olympic athlete, golfers, basketball, everyone, fighters, the greats across the board, all have trainers and coaches.
Man, I've been known to fucking ask for help on building a stencil from an apprentice.
That's right.
Or you know, if we want to look at like whatever you gauge to a good tattooer to be, I've asked someone that isn't quite as seasoned of an artist as me, you know, a take on their view of that. I've also taken advice from fucking people that have no right to be given any advice, and even if it's I know what not to do. So it's just that willingness to be that empty cup and always be looking for where you can get your wisdom from, because like the old saying goes, shit, you can even learn a lot from a dummy. You know?
Well, and and that's why this whole post was not only a mindset place, but a willingness. Do you really want to grow or not? Do you really want to learn or not? Well, then do you have the humility? Because it all leads to that famous Buddhist quote we love so much, which is, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So those of you that, wherever you're at, and you're like, well, I do want to grow. I do wish I could, you know.
I do wish I could.
Man. But check it. When you're really ready. But if you're at a place like, man, I could use some help. I could use some mentorship. But I just don't know from who or how. I mean, how could I get guys like Matt and Hip and Carlton to fucking train me? When you're really ready, the teacher will appear in multiple forms. And I don't know about you, Hip, but fuck, it just blows my mind how many people are closed off to even like coaching or having a mentor. It you know, it really blows my mind.
And, you know, I was guilty of that at one point in time. But, you know, luckily you are like the 5 people you associate with. And I always wanted more. And I totally respected your hustle and was just, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but it's just like, it's the willingness to want to be something more. And it's almost like through repetition is built willingness muscles, you could say, and has now allowed me the opportunity where it's like just second nature to want to do more. And it's so inspiring to do and know and see from the point of the mountain that I sit on that anyone is totally obtainable of this. It's just that I can't pay someone to do your push-ups. You have to be the one to do them. But it's like, I just want to be up there holding on to the next ledge with my hand down, like waiting for somebody to grab it. So that way I can pull you up while you're climbing up, and like we can grow together. Just because, I don't know, I've just spent too much of my time. I've spent too much of my time living in lack and all that bullshit in the past, and I still witness it to this day. And like tattooing it's sacred to me. I don't let apprentices even like set up my station, because like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's a habit. It's a fucking
part of your process, like habitual, like
yeah,
your mindset.
Yeah, it's just a sacred. It's almost kind of like a seance that I do, like getting my shit laid out the exact way I want it. I don't even want to teach it no one else, because I don't want no one else doing it for me, because I enjoy it. And
your setup is so thorough, dude. Like you take everything with care, man.
Now the breakdown, like you can totally fucking do that for me. But the setup, I love the setup, man. Which is funny, because that just kind of is applicable in life. Like the setup, I love the setup, whatever it looks like. Like I don't know what it looks like. It may come as some bullshit, but it's the setup for like, how's this going to benefit me in the long run?
Dude, from the day you and I met till now, you've grown so much. You've caused me to be a better man. It's been 5 years together. Guys, when I met Hip, he basically had nothing.
Nothing.
Not a car, not a driver's license.
I had a red t-shirt with an empty cup on it.
That's it. So, but when you got the right attitude, and you come to the world with an empty cup, everything already is yours. It's just walking it out, manifesting it. And there's no way around the hustle. You've put in so much work upon work upon work. But here's the beautiful thing. How many deaths have you died? How many rebirths have you had? I.e., for you to get from each level to the next, how many times going through growing pains did you have to shift your identity?
Fucking, it's goddamn daily. I wake up every morning and I journal. And I started that. It came through a place of like depression recently after I bought my house. So something, right? It's the setup that I was viewing as like this bad thing. Why am I feeling this way? Spawned something beautiful, like journaling. Now I start my day off with my vision and my values. And what I mean by that is like the vision is where I'm going, whether it be today. So oftentimes I write a couple days after we film these podcasts, like what the following week's gonna partake or portrayal. So like I'm always focused on what can I do better? How can I be better? How can I be better of service? Like, how can I be a better tattoo artist? How can I be more attractive to people that are wanting to live the same life I live?
Dude, you know how many times you just said be? And I love that because it's the difference between, because so many of you listeners out there want more. You want to have more. Fill in your own, fill in the blank of what it is you want to have and what you want to do so that one day, someday, you could actually be that person. And everybody's got it backwards. Instead of worrying about having it so that you could do it and one day be it, decide what that is and figure out how to be it now. And once you step into the being of it now to the best of your ability, my goodness, warp speeds everything, and eventually then you start to do, when you act like I'm going to pretend to be the person I've always dreamt to be, well, what would that guy do today? And you start doing those things, and believe it or not, you'll start to have those things. And the reason why I bring that up is because you started from depression, journaling, starting from asking the question, who do I need to be so that I can do these things I want to do and have achieved these goals I want to have achieved? And you started with the being in your journal. Who am I called to be today?
Right.
I love that. So other than your journaling vision, what's the other thing in your journal? You said two things you start out journaling. The vision and what else?
Values. Yeah, and the values are just like exactly that. What you're using to obtain your vision. Man, because like there's a saying I've always been by, and it's funny. I feel like this has just been a fucking an hour and a few minutes of just cliche sayings by Matt and Hip. But the shower I took yesterday ain't gonna keep me clean today, and it's right back to that like being average. Right now, I'm thankful for people that want to be average or mundane. Because like, what great contrast. How would we know what Michael Jordan looks like if everybody was great?
Yeah.
How would we know what if Michael Jordan wouldn't exist if everybody wanted to be average? So I like the contrast. Mm-hmm. But for those of you that are willing to fucking put on the big boy pants, the big girl pants, and like strap in and start a journey that's ultimately going to serve you and the ones you love,
that's right,
to the fullest potential that you are basically alive for. You're probably like me. You beat off about not beat off, but yeah, beat off actually, because it falls right in sync with what I was about to say.
Bandus power.
Man, masturbation, I tell you, be fucking great at it, not average. But yeah, you had to beat off fucking a trillion other fucking sperm to even come into existence. So why not make that shit count, man?
Well, like I always say, in case that whole reincarnation thing don't quite work out, this might be the only shot we got. Let's get it, right? And I like how you live a life with no plan Bs. You don't sign yourself up for an exit plan, so you're fully committed. The Hip's the dude that he will burn the ships. You know what I'm saying? I fucking love that about you. Now, to be clear with everybody, Life's all about seasons. And even though Hip and I are considered fucking dudes that are hungry and hustle and we go hard, there are seasons, and this is maturity and wisdom too, to know when and when not. And there are seasons when we are allowed to pull back, be present, and rest and be at peace. Meaning, just because we're always trying to grow doesn't mean we're not content with who we are today. And that's a dance and I've had to, instead of always being, I can't be happy or whole until someday, one day, someday.
Right. It's never, one's too many and thousands never enough.
Man, so we've grown to a place where we're happy with who we are now. And I'm excited about who we're becoming, where we're going, but it's not an arrival point that we can't be free until then. And something you and I have noticed, having the goals, having the vision, and setting out to obtain those things. And once you actually do, feels so good and it's awesome. But the real reward is the man and a woman you had to become to even get to that place.
Man, right. And even the greater aspect of that is the people that you'll inspire along the way.
And that will, in friendships and things you built, you know what I'm saying? When you step into a new realm and you may be scared and feel like you're all alone, only till you get there and you find a bunch of other badasses that been there, got there before you, that's going to call you to a higher place.
Right. And you were talking about, because since me and Matt have been together for 5 years and working together and tattooing together and traveling together and building together, now we're also like going on, we're doing this podcast. We're looking at possibly second locations or new locations as to where to move a shop, like hiring on new people, seeing like what that looks like. Matt's doing like online coaching and trying to help inspire people all around in this industry, not just here locally in Ohio, but to give us that break and be content. Well, yesterday we had a business meeting, just kind of like a kick it meeting with like a local entrepreneur. Dude owns like multiple businesses in the Dayton area.
He owns like 21 businesses. He consulted for Fortune 500 companies. Dude's a multimillionaire. He's younger than us.
Well, he's younger than you. He's older than me. But Matt was asking him about his sleeping schedule, and he's like, I usually wake up like 4:30 and 5, or, probably go. I only get maybe a half hour, maybe 3-4 hours of sleep a night. And instantly my first thought is like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not fucking doing enough. And I told my wife that yesterday, later in the evening when I was hanging out with her, and she was like, started hitting me with these scientific facts about how sleep's important and shit.
Yeah.
And it totally is, but like I don't know, the fucking obsession train kicks in, and it's like, dude, really?
But what were you doing, Hip? Because you say this all the time. You were comparing what?
Oh, my insides to his outsides.
That's right.
Because, at any given day, I'll listen or watch somebody, and it's all about what you do with your time, and are you working smarter or harder? And maybe that's just an insecurity I got with me that's like, you know what? I could be utilizing my time better than I have been. So yeah, it's once you start to want to crave growing and stepping out in the scary comfort, once you start stepping out of your comfort zone, everything you want's right there. And when you do that, you'll start surrounding yourself, like Matt was talking about, of people, like how I did. I was scared to approach him. I was scared to step out my comfort bubble. I did it anyway, even though I had a little help from like the previous shop owner's wife reaching out and talking to him for me. But it helped nudge me along to, once I stepped into that new way of being, like I started seeing more people like Matt, and meeting other artists, and doing bigger things and becoming what these things that I used to look up to. I remember sitting like trying to pull a rinse with a needle, it was right when they had them fucking satellite boxes when everything went digital. And there was some fucking Truth and Triumph commercials back in the day, which is a killer shop. locally, and you know they had badass commercials, a bunch of cool dudes with tattoos and hot chicks driving fucking rad ass hot rods, and you know it was a tattoo fucking commercial, and I'm like, these guys are fucking amazing, while I'm like laying there dope sick getting eaten up by bed bugs. And man, once I decided to come into who I was wanting to be, put myself around people who had what I wanted and started doing what they did, that fucking, what a measuring stick.
My God, everything's changed. But everything in his life on the outside is completely transformed and different because who he was changed and transformed and became a higher vibrating frequency, higher, truer version of his true identity than ever before. You know, we all want these things. Some people even pray for them as if like God's like in lack. And it's kind of like when you're ready, it will appear. And man, even though it was 5 years ago and he had nothing, guys, today, jeez, he's so blessed. This man not only is like, you got his driver's license, he drives a real nice ride, has everything that was on all of his vision boards, but this man just bought his first home for his wife and his kids. I mean, what transformation. Killing the game. My partner opening up a shop. I mean, it's just fucking awesome how much growth has happened in such short amount of time just because of your willingness and to apply courage and then fucking do the work. You did all your own push-ups. So I couldn't be more proud of you. And the fruit is like, for you to show you got the fruit of it, and we're surrounded by it. And we just getting warmed up. But the man that's sitting across from me right now, you have become, your identity has evolved and has changed from the man I met that couldn't spell. You know what I'm saying? Dude, and it's fucking awesome. But we ain't special, are we?
Man, in the realm we operate in, there's no big I's and little U's.
Meaning, any one of you listening right now, you can be, have, and do everything that's in your heart. You really can. We know you can. We believe in you. A huge reason why we're even here on this podcast is because of you, for you. We fucking want to be the vessel for everything you still need to get to that next level to flow through us directly to you.
Dude, you know what? Listening to you talk, I was thinking like all the way across the board, it's for that type of tattooer. The fucking, you can't, I'm old dog, traditional, bold to hold, fucking guy, fuck rotaries. That dude, because I've been that dude. The fucking arrogant, better than, can't teach me nothing. I've been that dude. The fucking enlightened, always ready to grow, hungry motherfucker. I've been that dude. And, you know, I'm hoping that maybe there's other tattoo artists out there or just other people in general that are radiating even higher than we are, that are like, man, these dudes are spitting some shit that I've been trying to spit. And let me connect with them.
Come on.
All the way down to the scared kid that fucking is sick of flipping burgers or was abused as a child and was told he ain't gonna amount to shit, but he's seen a fucking cool piece of fucking flash one time and he wants to do that for the rest of his life and is intrigued by it, but is too scared to make contact. Fuck to the felon that's getting released in 2022 that may have learned how to fucking sharpen a needle or burn his own ink and has done some shitty ass fucking cheese work and tribal eyeballs in the joint. When you get out, if you're fucking for real about the shit, we just want to be here for motherfuckers when they're ready, because you know it took some time for me to find someone when I was there. And I know, Matt, like your story, it wasn't fucking easy for you to get in the game.
Nope. No, it wasn't. I had Brian Brenner, shout out to my first tattoo father, Brian Brenner, who brought me on. But I had to beg him, and he told me to get fucked for 3 years before he gave me the shot. And then he took my apprenticeship fee and admitted to me a week or two later after I'd won him over that he was going to take my money and fire me for some bullshit. But in that process, I fucking won him over, you know.
How'd you win him over?
Man. Well, here's the thing. It's funny. Apparently, I was hungry and shit. Now, I was out in Phoenix, Arizona, begging him for apprenticeship. He'd tell me, get fucked, hang up on me. I'd call him back. Every time I called back, he got more pissed. This was after 3 years of begging. And I finally called him. I was like, wait, before you hang up on me, man, I will be the best apprentice you've ever hired. The most moldable, the most humble, the hungriest. I promise. Give me that chance to prove you that. And if I'm not the absolute best apprentice you've ever hired, then fire me. But give me that chance. Would you be open? Think of the best apprentice you've ever had. What if you found someone even better than him? Let's give us the shot. Well, he thought some bullshit, but I showed up so hungry. When I showed up, he was like blown away because I was in Phoenix. He was in Ohio. And all of a sudden I remember there was a pause on the phone call and he was like, all right, motherfucker. This was on a Friday. He's like, be here Monday morning with $4,000 cash. Click. And I could and I hung up the phone looking at a lemon tree like, I think that was a yes. But I also know that he probably didn't think there's no way in hell in 48 hours I'm going to pack up, move all the way across the country, and be on his doorstep.
Were you really looking at a lemon tree?
I was. In my
Did life
backyard.
give you lemons?
Man, come on.
See, it's shit like that, y'all, that I think this motherfucker was on some bullshit and off the rip. And most motherfuckers are like, what the fuck's up with this dude?
Yeah, why are you trying so hard?
Right. But I've proven it. I've fucking tried and true, went out and tried to get my own data about it.
Man. Anyhow, yeah.
So yeah,
I was so fucking hungry.
Yep.
Dude, I was non-offendable because my name was Bitch. Everyone was hazing me. Hey, bitch, I'm hungry. Get over here. And I showed up like, you can't offend. I'm so thankful to be here. And I know who I am to where you call me names ain't going to bother me.
Right.
And so the hazing stopped pretty quick because it became uncool to pick on me because I was like non-offendable, you know, but I didn't mind. If you're going to haze me, I took that with pride. I'm pulling weeds, fucking wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi, fucking doing yard work, landscape mulching, where some dudes would be like, what's this got to do with tattooing?
Right.
Man, I'm on the team. I'll fucking scrub the toilet with a toothbrush. If that's what you want me to do. I told you I'm here. I'm going to be the best. It blew Brenner's mind because apparently I was so hungry. Not only did I go above and beyond everything he asked me to do and go back and be like, done with that, what else, you know? Then at the end of the night, he looked at the clock. I'd been there for 10 hours or whatever. And he's like, yo, you done good. You can go home. But he was doing a back piece. I'm like, cool. I stuck around. There's still tattooing going on. And I remember an hour or two later, he was shocked. He's like, most apprentices are looking at the clock. They're ready to go to the club. I told you 2 hours ago you could leave, but you're still here. I'm like, dude, I've been drunk before. I'm here to learn how to tattoo. There's still a tattoo going on, man. I don't know what the fuck others about, but fucking, I know what it's like to party. I'm here to learn how to tattoo. And apparently just my hunger level relit his fire. And he was like, Clemmer, I got to be honest with you, man. You're the first person I've ever met that can actually walk in love and still be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, but that was fucking beautiful, man. And flourished from there. And never looked back, and was so grateful for me, since it wasn't handed to me and it wasn't easy and I had to beg. That fucking caused me to like respect it and appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? And that's also, now you know, when we get asked for apprenticeships, sometimes on purpose I'll say no,
right,
to see like, are you willing to come back and try and change my mind about you?
You know what you were saying about how you didn't leave because you've been drunk before. You're here. You want to see this. You're trying to learn how to be a tattoo artist. Yeah. I admire that because I always tell people, like, this isn't a job. It's not a career. It's a fucking lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, it may not be applicable to everybody like that, but this is how I view it.
Yeah.
If you want to fuck with me and you're serious about this shit, I got to see it because, like... You know, when I'm at the shop, yeah, sometimes I do get burnt out. It happens to everybody.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's my second home. Like, I'm there, I'm digging it, I'm having fun, and I'm enjoying being there. It's not like I'm looking at the clock ready to go and can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a hunger level, man.
It is. And you know, so basically to boil down...
And it real quick though, it made him, my mentor, actually want to pour into me.
Right.
Because I was hungry. And that's the same with God and the universe. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't outgive God. How hungry are you?
Right. And you know, you've said before, like, it's more important as to what type of questions you're asking. And like, you're just a great demonstration that sometimes you ain't even got to ask the question. You just got to show the hunger and the willingness and the teachability. And, you know, the cool thing is that I'm seeing come to light with both of our stories is that you started this, you know, a decade before I started the venture. Didn't really know who you were, and I applied willingness, hunger, teachability. You know, I'm blessed, I guess, that you weren't, you know, such a hard ass like Brenner was with you, and notice the willingness and the teachability. And, you know, you applied the same exact rules that I did, 2 completely different scenarios, 2 completely different teachers, 2 completely different periods of time during the industry. Because, you know, for like the last 15 years now with tattooing, it's just evolved to the point to where it's like at the pinnacle. It's the renaissance of the tattoo industry. And the same thing that was consistent, the common denominator through all that was just the teachability, the willingness, and the hunger to learn.
That's
full
right.
circle right back.
We
to
both
like,
had that on day one, and we got that today.
and it doesn't matter race, creed, religion, lack of religion, or your sexuality.
Cat or dog.
Right. If you want it, you go and get it. Doesn't matter if you want to be a tattoo artist, if you want to be a psychiatrist, if you want to be a fucking truck driver, if you want it, willingness, teachability.
And so here's the deal though. You know, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you got to go together. And no one ever achieved anything great without a team. Without coaches, without a squad, without a crew, without, you know what I'm saying? It fucking matters.
It does. And, you know, this is a great example. We want to go deep and far. So I've paired up with you and the great Joshua Carlton and vice versa. Because we want this to hit home and are wanting to see, you know, good change and true love back into the tattoo industry. And it's always been there. You know, it's just got to be louder.
Yep. That's right, man.
So man, with all that, dude, I appreciate this convo we've had, and it was good to reflect and look back on everything that we've embarked on this far. And it's good for me to hear too, you know, because I oftentimes forget just how far I've came. But I know I got a lot further to go.
Man, if a plant isn't growing, what's it doing?
Dying.
That's right. Check it. Guys, if your dreams don't scare you,
They ain't big enough.
then they ain't big enough. This thing requires us to step out of our comfort zone. And that shit's scary. That shit's uncomfortable. But if it ain't scary, that's your first sign you ain't doing it right. Because to really step out, it's scary every time. We don't lose the fear. That's where we apply courage, and you do it anyways. But out there is where the magic happens. Now you're getting blessed in the doing. Only in the doing are you giving the universe something to work with. And clarity comes in the doing. You've got to take the first step. Get out the comfort zone. Why do you think those of you that believe any sort of scripture and know that you have been sent a comforter, why would you need a comforter if you're going to stay stuck in your own comfort zone? You must get out the comfort zone. You will be sent a comforter. Out there is where the magic happens and you meet beautiful people like you. Hip, thanks for being vulnerable, playing full out, and
Matt,
joining
thank
me
you
today.
as well.
Yeah, brother, I love you, man. All of you tattoo artists and human beings out there listening. Even if you're not a tattooer, thanks even more for listening, right?
Yeah.
We hope this message inspired you, blessed you in some way, stirred you up, moved around some internal furniture. And guess what? If so, we want to know. We want to hear from you. Please write us and message us with questions, comments. How did this impact you? All that good shit. And if you want for us to discuss more on a specific topic, let us know that too. We'll do an episode just for you.